What's up, gamers? This is John of Video Games in the World. I've always said that I wasn't always too kind with the LGBTQ, but then learned to appreciate them and learn to support same-sex marriage the hard way. I cannot understand bigotry and prejudice for the record, but I can understand that some viewers of The Last of Us who played the game saw last night's episode and hoped that we could see that interaction between Ellie and Bill like in the game. But it didn't happen, and I'm sure many were a bit disappointed at that. I'll admit I was hoping to see that interaction and laugh my ass off like in the game. But at the end of the day, this is a show, and I love that episode as it gave Bill and Frank more depth and character development. Here's the thing. Even if a video game adaptation is very faithful to the source material, you cannot expect it to be 100% accurate. Why? Because the writers, despite being consulted and helped by those who played or developed the game, may take some liberties. And the game developers would love to expand the universe and lore of the game with these adaptations, and there will be different takes on some moments in the story and the characters. It's just like anime and manga. For example, the original Dragon Ball Z, there were a lot of episodes that were not in the manga. They were fillers, like that robot that Gohan befriends and teaches him how to survive, the Garlic Jr. saga, the Otherworld tournament, all that stuff, you know? But still, and by the way, the OG Dragon Ball Z, I like it more than the Kai and Super timeline. Anyway. There are some people that hated the episode because of the story of Bill and Frank's relationship. In my opinion, that relationship was very moving, and it can just make you cry a lot. If you hated the episode because of gay characters, then don't watch the show if you're gonna be so bigoted about it. And by the way, remember, if you ever played the storyline of Ellie, he left behind. So if you're still watching the show and you never played the game, then skip the video because I'm about to spoil it. If you ever saw Left Behind, if you ever played Left Behind, Ellie was gay. But there's one particular person who was not really happy about this and resorted to name call Neil Druckmann by calling him Neil Cuckman. Yup, it's Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, and I am not surprised. Yo no estoy sorprendido. And this is what Jeremy had to say. Check it out.
The Last of Us Episode 3 happened last night, and it's going exactly how you would expect a project with Neil Druckmann or Neil Cuckman involved.
Seriously, Jeremy? Do you have to call him Cuckman? You should know that name calling is pretty low and petty just because someone decided to be inclusive. Let's check out what else he has to say. Go ahead.
Episode 3, in its own right, I thought was somewhat entertaining, but when you actually look at the people behind it and you look at the agenda that they're trying to push, then you understand that this is not about just telling a story that's going to benefit the overall story. This is about Neil Cuckman pushing the agenda that he couldn't push when he originally made The Last of Us because it wasn't universally acceptable like it is now.
What agenda are you talking about, Jeremy? Exactly what agenda? You really think that including gay characters in a TV show, video game, comic book, a cartoon, and a movie is all part of some anti-heterosexual agenda? No. Also, do you have to name call Neil Druckmann just because he's included gay characters, or because of The Last of Us Part 2? Jesus Christ. And I thought SJWs loved to name call people who didn't like what they themselves liked, and whenever someone disagreed with them, calling them phobes or ists. Turns out that you anti-SJWs do that now. More than they do. And he calls it Brokeback Mountain. To be honest, I'm straight, and I love that movie. It was a good movie and won various awards. That was Heath Ledger, may he rest in peace, at his absolute best before portraying the Joker in The Dark Knight. Another great movie, and the best of the Dark Knight trilogy. Anyways, Jeremy then said this as he kept on with his rambling.
But why are you telling and using an entire episode to tell this story about two gay characters? Would this episode have made any sense if this was about two straight characters that had nothing to do with the overall story? It wouldn't even have been told, because this was done so Neil Cuckman and Naughty Dog can push their bullshit agenda. Now, I know that a lot of people that are going to see me reacting to this and see the headline are going to say, oh, Jeremy's just intimidated by gay characters, yada, yada, yada. It's so stupid, because these people don't have a working brain, because they think that everything is something to be fake offended over.
Judging by your rambling, Jeremy, it seems that you are intimidated by gay characters. You were complaining about the lesbian kiss in the Buzz Lightyear movie. This is not about getting fake offended. It's about calling out this type of attitude and silly thought that the show is forcing homosexuality down everyone's throats, according to you and those like you and the fandom menace types. There is no agenda, Jeremy. Besides, LGBTQ have been existing since the dawn of mankind. I'm a heterosexual man and a non-denominational Christian who believes in loving one another. In the words of scripture, the continuing debt is to love one another, for whoever loves others has fulfilled the law. Love thy neighbor as thyself. You keep on repeating that Drunkman is pushing some type of hidden agenda. When you started the name calling and talking about agenda, that's when your take on the episode made next to no sense. Even if it was a straight couple or a lesbian couple having a similar story, I still would like it. And I like it also. I like this episode. I really enjoyed it. Great writing, great character development, you know. And guess what? He's hoping that for season 2, they cast Scott Steiner as Abby. This guy, I tell you. Scott Steiner doesn't have to play Abby. In real life, there are lots of women who are bodybuilders. Who knows if they cast Florence Pugh or Ronda Rousey. The episode humanized both Bill and Frank. The story of The Last of Us is about survival, love, bonding, and friendship. It's a world where humans have to survive, not only fighting against infected, but also those who try to harm them and steal from them. And by the way, Jeremy, in the first game, it wasn't a hint that Bill was gay. He was gay. And in the Left Behind DLC story, it was revealed that Ellie was a lesbian. Bill is gay. I don't give a damn. Ellie is a lesbian. I don't give a damn. Dina is bisexual. I don't give a shit. Lev is transgender. I don't give a shit. I guess you and Anita Bryant would get along so good. In case you don't know who she is, she was a popular singer back in the 1960s. But then, she lost so much fame and credibility due to her anti-gay stance, thinking that the LGBTQ are going to force their sexuality down everyone's throats. The LGBTQ is not trying to force homosexuality, bisexuality, and transgenderism down everyone's throats. They're not asking for special treatment. They're not seeking power and control over heterosexuals. All they want is equality. To be seen as equals. To be seen as human beings. To be given equal access to everything. If you're bothered by LGBTQ character in a show, a movie, or a video game, then don't watch or play. If you're bothered by LGBTQ characters in comic books and manga, don't read them. Two men kiss, people like that exist. It's not identity politics. Two women kiss, people like that exist. It's not identity politics either. LGBTQ leads, people like that exist. It's not identity politics. And everything else that Jeremy and people like him hate, people like that exist. It's not identity politics. Something you don't like just has had bad writing or whatever. Shows, movies, and other forms of media like that exist. It isn't bad or meh because of identity politics. This guy, I'm telling you, he just can't enjoy something without watching it with an anti-SJW lens. Good thing I left that circle, because they're just as bad as the SJWs themselves. Jesus Christ. We live in a time where we cannot even have nice things anymore when it comes to movies, shows, and video games. Because anti-SJWs be like, oh my god, LGBTQ leads, female leads, BIPOC leads, oh no, SJW agenda! And like the character of, and also in another example I will add, the character of Glimmer in She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. Oh no, they made this one fat! Get her away! Get her away! Get her away! Both SJWs and anti-SJWs get triggered over everything. Dios mío. There will be backlash because I'm defending this episode from Geeks and Gamers. Just because I'm defending this episode doesn't mean I'm an SJW. It doesn't mean that I am on Druckmann's payroll or on HBO's. I just say what I have to say. And that's all I have to say. Comment, like, subscribe, and hit that bell button. Follow me on my Facebook page, my Twitter page, my Patreon, my Twitch page, and do subscribe to my gaming sub-channel where I will upload playthroughs and do live stream playthroughs there from now on. I am John of Video Games in the World. Have a good one. Peace.